Hey, what's going on? You know who it is. You know what it is. All right, you guys, peep game. All right, man. So it's been 30 years since the iconic film Boyz N The Hood came out, starring Ice Cube, Lawrence Fishburne, Nia Long, Morris Chestnut. A lot of people was in this film, and it was iconic. And I knew when I first saw this movie, it was special, and it was going to be a movie that people was going to talk about for years to come, because basically the impact that it had at the time on, that culture, it specified a lot of different things in the movie. It talked about a father and son bonding. It had a deep message about black men taking responsibility and raising their children. It had the element of, senseless black on black crime, gang violence, being a product of your environment, you know, uh, you know, favoritism within your, household, the situation with Ice Cube's mother and Morris Chestnut's, mother. And it was just really impactful. You know, I remember when we first heard about this movie, we was like, okay, this is going to be interesting. You know, all we really heard was headlines that Ice Cube was going to be featured in a movie called Boyz N The Hood. Now, I remember back in the day, they had this channel called Soul Beat, and um, they showed some behind the scenes footage, some, not behind the scenes. They just showed some footage of the movie. Basically, it was the scene with Ice Cube and Morris Chestnut's character, Ricky, when the college recruiter came to visit him and stuff. So, like I said, this movie talked about a lot of different things. And John Singleton covered a lot of ground in this movie. And like I said before, most of these people that was featured in this movie are still around today. Nia Long is still around, of course. Ice Cube is still around. Morris Chestnut is still around. Cuba Gooding Jr. Kind of went the independent route. He been doing a lot of indie films, a lot of low budget indie films, but he's still around. We already know Lawrence Fishburne is is around. Lawrence Fishburne is currently shooting John Wick 4 with Keanu Reeves. So I mean, for real, Angela Bassett, who went on to play Tina Turner. I mean, my God, now we know John Singleton is no longer with us, and then unfortunately, some of the people that were featured in the movie are no longer with us. One dude went as far as devil worshiping, and another one, I think he got shot in a drive-by or something. He really was out in them streets, So, for the most part, everybody that was featured in this film went on to have successful acting careers. And John Singleton went on to direct a slew of films, from Rosewood to Too Fast, Too Furious. He did some other stuff, Higher Learning. So, John Singleton did very well. And up into his passing, I think in 2019, maybe. But like I said before, this movie was very impactful on my life and stuff. I remember going to the Century Theater. Me and my brother and my cousin, we got on, we caught the bus, caught the 57. The 57 would take you close by the movie theater, because, we was, staying in the Dubs at the time. I think we would catch, I think we would either walk down to the 40 bus stop, catch the 40 to the Eastmont Mall, and then the Eastmont Mall, I think, had a bus called the 57 that would take us Yeah, that would take you to this gas station that's still there, as a matter of fact, and it would drop you off, and then you have to walk a little bit, and and then you would go to the Century Theater. It used to be a hotel over there too, but yeah. So we went there, we watched the movie, and we talked about it. I mean, people had deep discussions about Boys in the Hood. Like I said, we knew that this was going to be a classic film. This is a film that you can watch to this day, even though it was made 30 years ago, and you still could have a conversation about what's going on now versus what was going on then, because basically it talked about a cycle, that has deeply hurt our communities. Gentrification, like I said, mass incarceration, black on black crime that now is being used against us by people that aren't even black, something that they throw in our face to try to justify harming, other people, harming black people. Just goes to show you how they are. But like I said before, man, my favorite scene, like I said in the movie, was, when Furious Styles, I think, went to Compton, and he was just talking about, gentrification and how they set us up to kill, to basically take each other out. And by the way, I want to say this. I know Boyz N The Hood, I think, was nominated for 2 Oscars. I think Best Original Screenplay and Best Director for John Singleton. By the way, Lawrence Fishburne was flat out robbed for Best Supporting Actor. Lawrence Fishburne should have been nominated, and he should have won. But they gave it to Jack Palance for City Slickers, and we can make a whole argument about that. But Lawrence Fishburne should have been nominated for Best Supporting Actor, and he should have won. He was flat out robbed. Boyz N The Hood should have been nominated for Best Picture, as well. But we already know what's up with that, and that continues to happen. But at the end of the day, we don't need no validation by the powers that be. We know what we contribute to Hollywood. But like I said before, it's just amazing, that year we got iconic films in 1991, such as Boyz N The Hood. We got New Jack City. We had got Terminator 2. There were quite a bit of, special films that came out that year in 1991. But Boyz N The Hood, like I said, it's a movie that stood the test of time. People, they're selling apparel, celebrating that movie because it was such an impactful movie. It was something that you could have a real conversation about, because it was something that you could relate to. Because especially if you growing up in Oakland at that time, and especially growing up in Los Angeles. Now, like I said, in Oakland, we really don't do the Crip and Blood thing. We really, that ain't part of our culture. And I say this again, we're not disrespecting the Crips or the Bloods. We just really don't do that. That's just not part of our culture. But at the end of the day, I can still relate to that because, like I said, I was involved in that type of, lifestyle. Not long term, but, I participated in it and I'm not proud of it. And I've seen a lot of that stuff. I've seen, a lot of, gun violence, street stuff. So like I said, I could completely relate to it. And it wasn't trying to glorify the violence and stuff in the movie, because as you can see at the very end what happened with Ice Cube's character. He retaliated, and then apparently somebody retaliated on him. And we all know the famous swinging in the air scene with Cuba Gooding Jr. That shit was crazy. But nevertheless, I just wanted to give my take on the film. I really enjoyed it. And like I said, it's a movie you can watch to this day and still gain something out of watching it. This your boy Town Biz. I'm out.